Alright, so right now I'm in the midst of getting stuff prepared for priming and prepping and all that stuff, but while I was preparing, I'm also was painting the charcoal parts and the light gray parts into the paints that I have. Now I didn't want to show it off camera because it's kind of somewhat boring to see inner frames being painted, and I like to do it afterwards. Like for example, here is of course the body, already metallic painted using gunmetal, and that came out really nice. There's the leg, nice and shiny, as you can see there. Here's another part of the leg, which I had to take apart. I had to take apart, remove all the plastic clear parts, because obviously when I get the LED light set, I have to, feed it back in. It's not as simple as me, sewing the LED lights in. As I was reviewing a manual on how to do this. So when I was seeing that, I said, this looks like I'm gonna have to take it apart, feed it in, and all that stuff. I had to take off the inner part of this, which was this one right here, because I think the little box goes right through there. I believe so. I could be completely wrong, but this part needs to be retaken apart again. I'm just waiting for the LED lights to come in. The smaller parts I've already painted. These are all the smaller parts, and of course smaller parts that I connected to, they're already on. I had to verify the orientation of the parts, how it's going to pop out, how it's going to maneuver, and all that stuff. So all that was done, trying to see how that works and whatnot. Now, unfortunately, I am not done with the inner frame yet, because silly me, my Xtreme Metal's AK Interactive Gunmetal ran out. I'm going to tell you guys something. As much I love painting inner frame kits metallic of some variations, whether it's from L-Clad 2, from Mr. Hobby, Mr. Gundam colors, or this. And I have to admit, this is the best paint for metallic. It is nice and smooth, and it's clean, and very, very little thinning, just a little bit goes a long way. I must have used this many times. I don't remember. I do remember I used it on the Barbatos, and I don't think I've used this on the 2.0. No, not the 2.0. Yeah, did I? Yeah, I think I may have used it on the 2.0 Gundam. I'm saying 2.0 Providence. The Providence. I must have used it on the Providence. And I've used this on other kits as well. But I had to now order a new bottle. I should get it within the next few days so I can continue finishing up the inner frame. But it's a nice color. It's very nice. I highly recommend it. I'm hoping also to get more of that when I go to MosquitoCon. Usually vendors sell, a lot of these, but they go quick. Now these are the lighter tone colors, the lighter gray colors, and I have decided to use this one, which was chrome. Now I didn't want to do it reflective. I did prime these, but I used the light primer. I used the regular spray primer, which, to tell you the truth, maybe I should have used black. But again, it's okay. It's not completely bad. It has a nice. That's the one thing I like. It has a nice sheen to it. To say the least. I may want to review this again later on. Maybe I will have to repaint it again, but I don't want to cake the paint onto this so many times. So we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, so like like something like this, you have these weird blotches. If I have to, I may have to reprime this like a solid. I may do the old black color and then like painted black and then painted the chrome again. Because this doesn't say you have to wipe it or shine it. It's supposed to go on nice and smooth. But regardless of the case, that part is done. But now we're going to start working on the other colors, and that's when I have this little tray here full of blue, red, and the yellows are already dug in there. I've already have my Mr. Finishing Surface of 1500 gray ready to go. And I already got this already mixed up. Oh, hold on. Gonna do cover myself. So if you hear my mouth or not hear me well, it's because I'm covering my mouth. There we go. Alright, done. I've got my box here to hold up the parts. You know, before I move on, let me prime these because I'm going to be priming. I'm only doing these colors because that's how many alligator clips and sticks I have, because I don't have it all for me to do the whole thing. Put the air on here so that way we can circulate a bit and also speed up the drying. Alright, that should be fine. Leave that there. Let's look at some parts that are scarred up, like this one right here. Scarring, of course, as a result of me sanding it down. We're just going to do a few. I'm not going to bore you with all this because clearly we have a lot here. I'll just do the big parts here, like the shoulder, which surprisingly, everything was all undergated except there. There was one nub part mark right there that was not undergated. And I was like, wait, how does that work? But I cleaned it, sanded it down. Now, if I spray a little primer on it, you can barely notice the scar mark. There we go. And as you can see, I'm not covering the whole kit. I mean, I'm not like inundated with primer. just enough to cover the color, cover up the scars, and get ready for painting. In truth, the color that I'm going to be using, which is the burgundy red, the bloody red metallic, the pigmentation is so thick it acts as its own primer. So in reality, I really don't need to use primer for this, but the primer is not only, of course, to cover the color, it's also to cover the scars. So it's better safe than sorry. Let me get the inside as well. Yes, one thing, of course, is this kit is so big, you're thinking like, oh, it's only going to be shown through one side, and you don't know if it's going to be shown through the other. Make sure you cover all aspects of the part, so that way, you don't have a mistake. Let me just do this last one. This one I had to sand down because there was scars, there was nub marks there. There we go. Yeah, I see some scarring there, so let me just give it a little bit more primer. There we go. Alright, so I have a lot of these parts. Let me start priming them, and then we'll move on to painting them. Okay, so my metallic orange is now dry. It's not a lot of coverage though. It is a small part, especially since there's only the fins that's on the chest, the vent that's on the chest armor, and then these parts that are on the side of the cheek. So those are like the only 4 parts of this kit that requires yellow paint. I also went ahead and began painting the red parts, and here is an example of the metallic red by Ammo Mig. There's another one here. It has a good shine to it. So that has been drying for about a couple of hours now. But I think, oops. Well, while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm now going to focus on the next color. And that, of course, would be the metal bloody red. A little bit of a quick mixed. And we're going to use some parts here, especially this one, which has been pre-shaded already. Alright, let's see how this red will look. It's pretty nice. A good sheen to it. Let's try this one here. one thing that I was a bit worried about. Let's see how this comes out. That is very good. Wow. The pigmentation on this color is very, very thick. Unlike the acrylic version of the metallic color that I used a moment ago with the red and the orange, this one has the same strong consistency to be used on parts like this, even if you don't want to prime it. Let's choose this big bad boy right here. Somewhere there. Alright. That's actually really nice, wow. I'm impressed, very impressed with the overall results here. Now I did mention before that this part is going to be the same color because I don't see myself just painting 4 parts in a different color tone. So it will be painted the same color. Considering the fact that it is going Trans Am mode and you know, you don't have to be picky. Of course, you don't have to follow my rule of thumb. You guys do your own way. I don't know how you can actually do this with alclad paint because the color spectrum is not there. So far, the choices I've made has been up to par. But we won't know for certain until it dries, and you know, after the parts are dried and I put them together. That's why I was doing all these experimentations and tests to make sure they look good, and I was comfortable with what I was going to try. Last thing I want is to ruin a $200 kit. Well, it's going to be 3 now, considering with the LED lights I've ordered and waiting it to come in and all that stuff. Plus the pains, plus the time and effort. But for now, this bloody red looks bloody awesome.
we all agree. Also painting the inside of the edges in case it shows through the under armor or something like that. It may not, I don't have to worry about it, but better be safe than sorry. Some parts will be revisited so that way I can redo them again over and over. Well, for now, this is, you know, I want to make sure that I give it the overall coat before we move on to the next. So, let me continue with this, and we'll move on to the next color. So stay tuned.